Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of SU Featured. I'm Adam Krigo, and joining me for today's segment is graduating senior and four-year member of the Salisbury volleyball team, Hailey Dougherty. Welcome, Hailey, and thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, how have you been? What have you been doing to keep yourself busy during this pretty unusual time right now?
Keeping busy, a lot of at-home workouts, a lot of cooking. I've been reading a little bit more and applying for a lot of jobs. So just definitely keeping myself busy.
Well, good, good. So, are you back home now with family, back in Pennsylvania, right?
Did stay here for a little bit, a couple weeks, and then I did just get back from visiting them. I went home for like 2 weeks just to visit family. They're all healthy and doing well. So now I'm back in Salisbury.
All right, well, before we move forward anymore, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are?
I played 4 years here. I am a senior on the women's volleyball team. I am a libero, and I'm also a marketing major.
How old were you when you started playing volleyball, and how did you first get interested in the sport?
I think it was like 5th grade. I went to a private middle school, so CYO volleyball in middle school, and I started around like 5th grade. So yeah, been playing for a while.
Did you play any other sports as a kid? What made you decide to stick with volleyball?
Tried basketball. I think I went to one practice and absolutely hated it. I ran track in middle school too. I did like the high jump and the long jump and that kind of stuff. But volleyball was the only sport that really stuck out to me. I started playing in 5th grade, and then once I started playing in 6th grade, I also did club. So it was kind of year-round volleyball since 6th grade. Played on the high school team, played club all throughout high school, and it was really the only sport that I loved.
And while you were playing for Salisbury, you were a libero and defensive specialist. Was that always your position? Did you try out any other positions or play any other positions while you were growing up in the sport?
I played every single position that there is. I was one of those athletes that kind of never had a position all throughout middle school and high school, especially in club. It was kind of whatever, any way I could get on the court, that's what position I was going to play. Started out setting and hitting. I was an outside hitter, and then I DS'd a little bit. And then in high school, my sophomore year, I was on varsity, and they needed a middle, and I said, put me in. I will do the job. I'll figure it out. Going into college and starting to get recruited, I realized I was kind of on the shorter side if I wanted to play in college, and that's when I really decided to stick to the DS libero position.
You graduated high school in the spring of 2016, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's correct.
When you were getting ready to finish up your high school career and you started looking at colleges, did you know that you wanted to continue playing volleyball at the collegiate level?
Going into my sophomore year of high school, that's when I started doing a lot of my recruiting. I knew I was going to be more of a DS. I wasn't really going to be recruited for hitting. I'm only 5'7", so not that tall. So if I really wanted to hit, it would be at a D3 level at a lower tier school. But I really wanted to play competitive. I wanted to contribute on a college team. So yeah, I started a lot of my recruiting my sophomore year in high school. And then I knew I wanted to go to a school, like I said, that I would contribute and I'd be on the court and I'd be able to play in games.
And ultimately, you ended up here at Salisbury. So what made you decide to attend Salisbury?
I really wanted to get out of state. Like I said, I lived in Pennsylvania. I really wanted to go south into the Maryland, Virginia area. It was far enough from home where I couldn't come home on the weekends. My parents couldn't keep tabs on me, but far enough away where I could kind of become my own person and grow a lot. And so I was looking at a lot of schools down in this area. Coach Turco reached out to me and said that he saw me play at a tournament. He would love if I would come down for a tour. And so we were going to Washington, D.C. my junior year for a tournament, and we stopped into Salisbury, and I took a tour, and I absolutely fell in love with the campus. I didn't want a small school. I wanted a nice medium-sized school, so like the 8,000 to 10,000 enrollment here was exactly what I wanted. Like I said, the campus was beautiful. I knew I wanted to go into business, so the accredited business school was perfect. It was an amazing business school compared to a lot of the other schools I was looking at. And then, being a half an hour away from the beach didn't hurt either.
That's a popular answer when people are asking about what brought them here. So this is a bit of a broad question here, but what has your experience been like for you since you came to Salisbury the past 4 years?
Academically, athletically, personally, I've grown so much in these last 4 years. I honestly couldn't ask for a better 4 years. They've literally been the best 4 years of my life. I've met some of my best friends. I've learned some of the most valuable lessons, like I said, on the court and in the classroom. They've definitely been the best 4 years that I could have asked for.
What are some of your favorite memories from your time at SU and as a member of the volleyball team?
It's so hard. It's really hard to narrow it down to one good memory. Every year here, there was such a different team dynamic. There were different highlights from each year. My freshman year We beat CNU for the first time on their home court in conference play in like 13 years. My freshman year, we also beat Stevenson, which was a big win. My sophomore year, we had a really dramatic playoff comeback against York, which is super exciting. My junior year in the playoffs, even though we lost to Mary Wash in semifinals, it was honestly one of the best games that I think the team had ever played in, and it was such a fun game to be a part of. It was such an intense 5-set match. That was a great game, even though we lost. And then this year, I mean, it was such a great year. I couldn't have asked for a better senior year. I mean, beating Susquehanna in the first weekend of play, that was a huge regional win. And then going on the next weekend, beat Marymount. I mean, we beat a lot of great regionally ranked opponents this year. So on top of all the wins that we had, I think just, like I said, meeting some of the most amazing women I've ever met in my life. I mean, from my freshman year all the way to this year, every year had great people on the team, and I'm so lucky that I'm blessed with some of the best teammates ever, and they've truly become my friends and my sisters. Bus rides and hotels and the overnight weekends, just anytime that we got to be together, honestly, they were great memories.
Well, your decision to come play at Salisbury proved to be a positive one for you and the program as well. You've had a good deal of individual success in your 4 years here. Especially this past year as a senior. You won some conference awards, some region awards, but most recently, you were named to the Salisbury Volleyball Alldecade team. So congratulations on that, and tell us how that feels.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, that was something that I'd been paying attention to. You guys did a great job with the Alldecade team. It was great. It was executed so well. And so when I saw you guys publish that, I was like, this is going to be so cool for the athletic program. I'm excited to see everyone from the past decade, all these players I've heard so much about. And it was honestly such a pleasant surprise. There have been great players, especially in the last 10 years, to come through Salisbury, especially the volleyball program. So I'm extremely honored, and it was a great surprise.
All right, well, changing focus a little now. You mentioned that you were a marketing major, and for anyone who's a part of the business school especially, it's pretty important to gain some field experience in the form of voluntary work or internships before graduating college and going out to the real world. You were able to land a pretty cool internship experience last summer. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I had an internship with the Philadelphia Eagles this past summer. I was a ticket and fan services intern. So pretty much I worked in the stadium from 9 to 5. I worked in the ticket operations office pretty much, dealt with a lot of season ticket members, a lot of fans, answered phone calls and emails from fans all day. And then we were able to work events too. So I worked the NCAA lacrosse championships over Memorial Day weekend. That was our first big event. That was actually the first week we started our internship. So it was a lot, but yes, just being able to see like everything that went into an event. I worked the Rolling Stones concert. That was at Lincoln Financial Field. I worked a training camp, the Eagles' first training camp against the Titans. I was able to be involved in training camp at the NovaCare Center that happened over the summer, and a lot of the season ticket member events. So it was awesome. It was such an awesome experience, and I would definitely recommend anyone to get into the sports field.
For anyone out there in the SU community who is a student who's looking for these type of opportunities, can you tell us how you first found out about this opportunity?
I just kind of thought big, and I was like, what would be the coolest internship I could land? I'm a really, really big football fan. I've grown up watching football. I actually have a lot of football knowledge. So the first thing that came to my mind, I was like, I would love to work for an NFL team. And that's when I kind of just Googled NFL internships, and a website called Teamwork Online came up, and they have all internships and job postings for NBA, MLB, NFL, all the different professional sports teams. They have all job and internship listings, and that's when I kind of just stumbled across the Philadelphia Eagles internship. And it is more customer service and sports management based, so I was kind of skeptical. I just applied because I thought it would be an awesome opportunity, and I ended up getting a call back for an interview, and it kind of just took off from there.
So in what ways has that internship helped you prepare for your next step in your journey following graduation?
I am a marketing major, and the internship wasn't too marketing based. It was more customer service, management, communications, that kind of field. So it definitely gave me a lot of answers of what I wanted to do. I realized I love working with people. I realized I love working for a big company. Working for a franchise is such an honor, and it has a privilege that comes along with that. And that was a great experience. But it made me realize I do want to do more into marketing. It would be awesome to eventually eventually work in the marketing department for an NFL team, looking long-term down the road. But it did give me a lot of answers of this is what the sports industry is like, and it's awesome, but it's also very, very demanding. A lot of weekends, a lot of time that goes into it. People who work in that field are such great people and really dedicate all their time to that. So I am keeping my options open. I would love to work for an NFL team again, but I think right now I definitely want to go more marketing and get into like a marketing agency.
Well, that's about all I have for you today. Before we go, I do have one final question. What type of advice can you give the incoming and future Salisbury student athletes?
I mean, I talked to the team a little bit over this quarantine, and I kind of just told them, I said, work out every single day. Like, it's really easy to get into this quarantine, into summer breaks and winter breaks, no matter what season your sport is, and just be like, okay, I'm tired, I worked out yesterday. Stay motivated, stay hungry. For the people the underclassmen that are still here and the people that are still playing sports at Salisbury, work out even though your body is tired. Don't give in to that. Definitely stay motivated, stay driven to achieve any of your goals. And for high schoolers coming and looking at colleges, I got some great advice from an amazing libero that played at the D3 level. She kind of gave me the advice in my junior year. She said, don't roll out D3 schools. They get a really bad rep sometimes with athletic competition that's held. It's not as competitive as D1 or 2, and those are really false stereotypes. And I got this advice in my recruiting process that don't roll out D3 schools. They can give you the balance of academic and athletics. You're going to play and you're going to make some of the best memories, and just because there's this stereotype behind it doesn't mean that it's not going to be any more competitive. And that's some advice that I'm extremely happy I listened to, because it brought me to Salisbury, and it's advice that I would give any volleyball player or any sports person who's getting recruited to come into the college level. I would definitely say don't roll out D3 schools.
Well, Hailey, I want to thank you again for taking the time to join me today for this. Congratulations on a great college career, and best of luck to you in the future.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Adam.